Welcome back to the program. You're watching Morning Thailand with Tulip and Golf. And like we told you before we went on the break, we'll give you an update on the House deliberation that is going on right now.
Right.
Last time we talked about this, we were saying that they are on the process of the charter amendment, on the selection or the election or where it's come about of the Senate. And it's already passed the first vote, I believe.
Yeah.
It's created a lot of
chaos,
unpleasant.
yes.
Anyway, because of all this chaotic, so finally the charter amendment on the Senate selection will be extended. It supposedly should be done within yesterday, but apparently, yeah, because I think it's the. A lot of people, there is this new term that they have been using on social media called filibuster, which is mean the way that opposition try to drag along or delay the process, make it longer. But anyway, I guess they succeed in doing that because it didn't really conclude it last night.
Really dragged on.
So finally, this will be extended until next week on the 27th to the 30th of August to finish on the charter amendment on the Senate selection itself. But because on the 23rd and 24th and 26th is scheduled to be the deliberation on the budget bill of the 2014. So 3 days for the budget bill. Of course, I believe we will hear so much more about how much the government spent last year and how much they asked for the coming year, and probably going to be in detail where they can cut or where they cannot cut. And lots of time we always hear quite shocking numbers. Like last time we report about the budget the government have for building image for the government itself, that like a couple $100 million baht on top of a lot of things.
Also a build, they will build a war room, what they call a secured war room for 24 million baht.
Yes. Anyway, just because you hear a lot about the chaotic that's happening, but the Prime Minister was so far has been somewhere else. So the opposition party and a lot of people have asked where the Prime Minister is. She actually came back yesterday from the official visit to Tajikistan. I always said this wrong. Tajikistan and Pakistan. She finally came back yesterday morning and sit in the parliament in the afternoon in the charter amendment before she went back to the government compound. But anyway, the opposition asked why she has been absent from the meeting. So Mr. Amnoi Kangpa, the government whip chairman, replied to that, said just lack of one member of parliament, the whole process still able to run itself.
Right.
So on all, even though the one that lack is the Prime Minister, the process still able to goes on. Well, yeah, it makes sense. Anyway, a little bit of the gossip behind the scene though, because of the chaotic that happened in the parliament, that we saw there's some screaming, there's some word using that you don't expect to hear from member of parliament, honorary member of the parliament themselves. So there was gossip that journalists able to grasp and report on the newspaper that some of the Pheu Thai member of parliament thinking that all of this chaotic happened because of the House Speaker hasn't been affirmative enough.
Oh, so he has to be more
on
firm.
Keeping things in orders. So
but he ordered a lot of policemen to come into the room already.
He's talking about Mr. Somsak in particular, Somsak Kietsurunon, and they were thinking how they would replace him with Pheu Thai member of parliament from Ayutthaya province. Let me look for the name here.
Wouldn't that be escalating more trouble?
Mr. Withaya Buranasari is a lot of people is supporting that he might be looking at being a House Speaker,
Really?
but it's not that easy because being House Speaker, you be appointed. You will get royal endorsement according to the
So it's not like you
constitution.
can replace.
It's not like you can just replace.
I can't come in today. Could you?
That's why
fill
I
in
said
for me?
it's like a gossip kind of thing behind
Right.
the scene from the Pheu
Still a
Thai
rumor.
member of parliament that they want to replace because they believe since Mr. Somsak has taken the chair as a House Speaker, he kind of changed his gesture a little bit away from on Pheu Thai side. I don't know.
Well, the thing is,
This
your
is- this
House
is a
Speaker,
gossip.
It's,
This
it's
is a
good
gossip.
that
Yeah,
you
that-
keep balance.
Yes, true.
All right.
Anyway.
Interestingly enough. All right. Another interesting case from the parliament itself. It's always fun to report about all these tips
All this
and
little
bits,
thing
because
around.
obviously for hours and hours that they were dragging on, not much to report. They did not accomplish much. So we didn't know what to actually report at
In
this
the
point.
radio the other day, I was listening to this political journalist. They were talking. They was like, I have to wait. I have to listen. They have to listen for 12 hours of the argument to get 5 minutes of the news to report.
It's true. It's hard because it seems like it just dragged on. However, I have one interesting news.
Right.
Of course, social media has been used a lot, and
Right.
apparently a lot of MPs seem to enjoy using them. One in particular is Kun Thawon, Kun Prasit Chai Sisa of the MPs of Surin province, who decided during the time when everybody else was debating, was taking a picture of his fellow MPs, Thawon Triratnarong, who was sleeping, who was taking a nap. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, he's tired. It's a long day and, he's not a young man anymore. So I guess, there's that moment, but it's just not pleasant nonetheless.
The one that's napping is the partyless member of parliament.
Right. So, the MPs that's supposed to be there. And of course, you can see the tag there. That's called, say, Pheu Thai. So they're from the same party. Pheu Thai
Right.
party. And a lot of people were actually criticizing this, saying that I don't think that's a good behavior to have. First of all, it was during the time when everybody else was debating, so perhaps you should do your
Heated
work.
debating.
Well, perhaps you should pay attention to what was going on. Both of them, the person that took a picture as well as the person that was sleeping.
I think the person
So-
that took picture is not as bad as the one that's sleeping.
So Kun Prasit Chai Sisa probably going to have to answer to his party as well, because at this point, I'm pretty sure that this particular picture will get him in a big trouble, along with Kun Thawon Triratnarong, who could not stay awake during the time.
Right.
So, at this point, that's one of the things. However, another thing that came up yesterday, once again, I mean, the Democrat Party has been talking about and criticizing about how the Prime Minister has been traveling quite a bit
Right.
into various countries.
Right.
But of course, a lot of people try to defend that, saying that, hey, she's on the duty and such. Now, yesterday it came up again at about 3 o'clock, where the conversation was heated between one of the MPs from Pheu Thai party, a lady there.
The female MP?
A female MP. They say Saw Ying. I'm not even sure if that's supposed to be her name. But somehow, they did not disclose it. They just say
Right.
that female MPs from the Pheu Thai party versus Dr. Warong Date Kit Wikom, the Pisanulok province MP of the Democrat Party, because Dr. Warong was actually criticizing and showing the picture of Prime Minister along with the other entourage, taking pictures in Taj Mahal.
Right.
And,
Well, since
she
you're
has some picture.
there at all these beautiful places, it takes only minutes to take
Exactly.
pictures.
And then, of course, the Democrats used that to argue that the Prime Minister make it looks more like traveling rather than, pay attention to what was going on in Thailand.
Look more like a leisure trip.
Exactly. So, but the thing is, of course, she was on the trip, and the Pheu Thai party has been once again trying to reassure the Democrat Party, saying that at this point, this particular debate that they were doing for the Senate and such is actually is the job of the MPs,
right?
Not necessarily the Prime Minister. So technically, she did not, not fulfill her duty. She did. She just wasn't sitting there.
Like the government whip chairman said, lacking one member of parliament doesn't really hurt
because
the
they
process.
said that she said this particular person, especially Kun Kusumalawati Siri Gomut of Mahasarakam province, the MP from Pheu Thai party, said that if Dr. Warong would like to criticize Kun Yingluck about this, then Dr. Warong has to use the term MPs.
Oh.
Yingluck as the MPs, not the prime ministers. So I don't know how that works either, because technically she's not MP.
She is an
she
MP.
Is an MP.
And
she also exactly
head of state, not a head of state.
Yeah.
She's head of MP.
Oh, she's exactly.
She is a head of MP.
She's a head of MP. So technically, use her as an MP, not PMs.
Okay.
Prime Minister, right? Not the member of parliament, but not as a prime minister, but as a member of parliament instead, not that.
Right.
So at this point, those are all the tips and bits.
And
exactly.
Yeah. But I would say taking pictures on the business trip, you can make it look happy.
Yeah,
right?
you can.
You don't have to act all stressed out all the time, even though it might be really stressed out.
Exactly. All right, let's take a short break because Kun Chen have what the other people think about the whole Senate thing, with the poll and such. So please stay tuned.